Hey friends, today we are talking about Black Panther in all its awesomeness. Of course, so the movie was written by Joe Cole and Ryan Coogler, and the comic book character itself was made by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Wherever you are in that feud, that's who it was made by. And yeah, the film was flippin' awesome. So this movie is very different than most movies. This movie falls under the category of something like Winter Soldier. Whereas Winter Soldier was more about, you know, the Big Brother angle, where, you know, we're being watched all the time, or how government's overstepping its bounds with how they collect stuff and data and whatnot. I'm sorry, I gotta pick up my dog. He's being a weenie. And things like that. And so, like, much like Winter Soldier was like a statement or a political statement or a statement on the government, this movie is very much a statement on Black Lives Matter, Emmett Till. Like, this covers all things in the black community. So in that aspect, this movie wasn't so much about, oh, you know, white people have done this and that. This movie was very much about, like, oh, this happened to us, but, you know, Africa turns a blind eye. There's no one there who wants to unite and link up and, like, share our resources to help each other. So that's what this movie focused on. Although it does touch on colonization and early Europeans and things that are going on in the world today. So this movie, I personally feel, has taken comic book movies to the next level. I mean, like, for a while there, everybody's always talking about this comic book bubble, like what's going to happen. Because, you know, comic book movies for the most part have been like, you know, cookie cutter. This hero, this guy doesn't know. Very, very Man of a Thousand Faces if you've read that book. The guy doesn't know he's a hero. He discovers something new. He goes on this journey. He realizes what he was told wasn't exactly true and all this other good stuff, and then he becomes this great hero, right? So, but this movie, and along with Winter Soldier, have taken comic book movies to another level because they could be about something else. They don't have to always be about, you know, superpowers or this and that. This movie was a statement, a political statement, a social statement, and I will say, like, a lot of people weren't ready for this. A lot of people went into this movie thinking they were going to get Iron Man or, you know, or a normal Captain America or an Avengers movie, and it hit them and they didn't know how to accept it. Case in point, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but you know, we're all YouTubers, so we've all seen each other's material. I've stumbled upon, like, Grace Rudolph, who is the host of the YouTube show Beyond the Trailer, and both her non-spoiler and spoiler review came off really racist. And, like, I would like to think the better of people, but again, the best I can say is, like, she didn't know how to take criticism or truth so much. And I mean, how much truth is in the film, but she couldn't accept that this was a black person's point of view in the community. And I'm speaking about the character Killmonger, who I will touch on later on in this video. So early on, of course, a lot of people, and this touches with, like, how much people know about Black history, because right away, both of these characters, and I'm talking about Black Panther and Killmonger, they are compared to Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, where these two comparisons are so far off, it is ridiculous. Whereas Martin Luther King was very about, you know, integration and things like that. My dog's biting my pants. Like I was saying, Martin Luther King was very much about these things. T'Challa is not. He's all about making it everything inclusive. He wants to, or not inclusive, but exclusive, and he wants to keep everything to Wakanda. Like, he doesn't want to share resources, and he doesn't want to reach out to the black community. He wants everything, America to deal with America stuff, and he wants Wakanda to deal with Wakanda things. And that's very much not the feeling in all of Wakanda. You have people who are wanting, people in Wakanda who are seeing the struggles of African Americans in America, and it's like, why aren't we reaching out to these people? And T'Challa is very much like, nah, man, we're not doing that. So in that nature, Black Panther is not comparable to Martin Luther King, but you know, not a lot of people know other civil rights leaders or anybody else who was black that was a leader. So, and the same thing with Eric Killmonger. Eric Killmonger is the furthest thing from a Malcolm X reference whatsoever. Although I guess I could see where some people who are not educated will get that, but he's not. I mean, like, Eric Killmonger, if he's like comparable to anybody in history, I would want to say it was Nat Turner, or Nate Turner, however you want to say his name. And that was because I mean, there were many slave revulsions, but I mean, like, Nat Turner is one of like the ones who stick out, and he, much like Killmonger, was like, yo, we're taking people down no matter what. It could be you know, old folks, kids, all, it don't matter. Like, we need to get these weapons into our people's hands, and we need to start fighting back now. And that's more of what Eric Killmonger was saying in this movie. Eric Killmonger, and again, we'll get into his character in a second. Okay, so now we're going to talk about characters, right? There's a couple standouts for me, and I'm not going to get on everybody in the cast. I'm going to tell you about the standouts I think it's awesome, because I know a lot of you still haven't seen this movie. So, although this is like a spoiler heavy, there's still more things you guys could go see about this movie if you guys, you know, if you watch this review about it. So, Wakanda itself is really, really amazing. I was worried about Wakanda during the Civil War just because I felt like they said like that meeting took place in Wakanda. I can't be wrong, but I feel like they were trying to say the country that they were in was currently Wakanda, and like, that's a no-go. P.S. Black Panther takes place, I believe, after the events of Civil War, not during Civil War. I think a lot of people are saying it takes place during, but I believe when he's on the ship, they're literally talking about how they arrested the guy who was responsible for the bombing, and how he's in custody right now. So yeah, I believe this is taking place after the events of Civil War. Anyways, on to Wakanda. When we see Wakanda, it's exactly like it's made in the comic books, which is flipping amazing. Like, I mean, it's all with the, like, you know, technology and Mother Nature being all in one. It's really amazing. I love how they did this. I mean, again, I'm excited for, like, you know, this franchise to explore more of Wakanda, and more of just more of that world, and as they branch out, I think it's going to be amazing. Okay, and so then there is Shuri. She is T'Challa's sister. I thought her character was amazing. She was funny, she's young, she's hip, she's like all about, she's all in that crowd. She's also the actress who was in the Black Mirror episode, I believe it was the Black Museum. That's the same actress who's playing Shuri, and I thought that was so cool to see her in this. So already she's been called the smartest character in the Marvel Universe, and that is awesome. So she is smarter than Tony Stark. So I'm expecting Shuri to be responsible for a lot of the new Iron Man tech going into Infinity War. So I expect like some sort of like play off of that. And I know, like, you know, like Black Panther is more on Captain America's side, but I feel like this is what's going to happen. So now to the main lead of this movie. It's his movie, Chadwick as Black Panther. So Black Panther in this movie, man, let me tell you, man, like, I'm such an Eric Killmonger fan. Oh man, and I don't want to say much because I'm going to talk about him in a minute. But again, like, Black Panther did his thing. I will say the character has changed since Civil War, where I believe the character was more or less more like his comic book counterpart than he is in this own solo movie. You know, specifically, and again, I'll touch more back on this after I talk about Eric Killmonger, because it's gonna connect with that. But yeah, I just feel like the character was just, he was held back. He was more ashamed than he was in Civil War. If you've seen the movie, you probably know what I'm talking about. If not, when you see the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about. Or just watch Civil War, watch how he is in that, and then watch how he is in Black Panther. It's two complete things. But yeah, he did his thing, and I love the new costume, the new power set, and although I'm not yet clear about the Black Panther's powers just yet, or what Marvel's going to define, because I think it's completely different than the comic book. But that being said, we'll talk more, and again, all this goes back into Eric Killmonger. Eric Killmonger makes this freaking movie. I mean, he's the scene stealer. He stole this film. Michael B. Jordan was able to tap into something that most African Americans feel, and he turned it up to the next level. Often in like pro wrestling and films, when they say you're playing a villain, when you're playing this villain, you have to believe that what that character is doing is right in order to get it over, to get it across. And in this film, like, Michael B. Jordan did that, and it was amazing. And again, we talked about earlier how people were uncomfortable and were not ready for this movie because they didn't think they were going to go see this type of movie. Again, I point to Grace from Beyond the Trailer, her review. She could not grasp or understand how somebody could feel the way that Eric felt. So, she totally, she bashed Ryan Coogler and she bashed Michael B. Jordan, which is weird. Like, these are just characters, and there's some truth to these characters, but people actually feel this way. So for her to do that was just basically saying no one feels that way, and she didn't understand it, which is cool. I would rather her say I don't understand these things than to go on bashing these characters, or it just comes off as ignorance and racism. And I don't know if she wants to come off that way, and that's her channel. She can say whatever she wants, she can do whatever she wants, but this is my channel, so I'm just saying, that's how she came off. And I think a lot of people, and a lot of white America, or, other cultures who are not in my culture, felt that way. So like I said, as an African American, as a black male, I was able to relate to Eric Killmonger. This is true. There's already, like I said, this kind of divide between African Americans and Africans. Could you imagine if we lived in a world where there was a Wakanda? We would be even more furious. And I can also relate. He says, when he said that his dad used to tell him stories about how beautiful Wakanda was, and he thought they were fairy tales. I can relate to that, because I remember my parents and my father and my aunts and my uncles telling me about how wonderful Africa is. And I mean, I don't think people really realize how vast and big Africa really is, and how beautiful and how things came from there. But I remember hearing these stories, and it's you hear these fairy tales, and then you're I don't know if this is true, because when you go to school, they're telling you something completely different, so that even that line I could relate to, even all the way up to till his death. Dude, was so dope, man. But yeah, I thought that was so awesome. Man, he was a scene stealer, guys. You've got to see this. You got to watch this film. It is just super amazing. So yeah, the character of Eric Killmonger, and like I said, when I said earlier that Black Panther was more reserved in his solo film than he was in Civil War, it was so Eric Killmonger actually it was he was representing what Black Panther was in Civil War. In this movie, Black Panther was more reserved. I mean, other than a confrontation with Claw, there really wasn't anything else. So yeah, that toughness and that need to, I mean, the way he was chasing down Winter Soldier in Civil War, and how he came at Cap and that whole lineup. All that was he was more reserved, he really, and granted that he was he was going through some things, he was becoming king. I really didn't feel the same way about him in his solo movie that I did in that movie. And I feel that was done on purpose, because he needed to meet a guy like Killmonger so he could get that back, that spark back, that aggression back. Because I think, and this touches on both Black Panther and Killmonger, but I think going forward, people right now, when I see other people's reviews, I think they have they really have this Martin Luther King look or aspect of T'Challa, and again, that's for his comic book counterpart. all that, like, he is nothing like that. Like, he, in the comic book, he has, like, more than a little bit of Killmonger inside of him. Like, he's not about, like, killing kids or nothing like that, but he's very much aware. Like, he joins the Avengers to spy on them, first of all. I mean, like, this is a person who beats Cap. He's bested Iron Man. He's beat the Fantastic Four single-handedly. Like, he's very much Wakanda first. And I think going forward, I think people mistook his message after defeating Killmonger. I think they feel like, oh, now, you know, Wakanda's gonna go out and they're gonna give, like, America and Russia all these, like, access to vibranium. And no, that's further from the case. What he did was reach out to the black community in these places who were being misrepresented and taken advantage of. That's what he did, and that's what he does when he buys out that building that his uncle dies in. I don't know where people got, like, this weird thing where he's like, he's gonna, now we're all gonna go to Wakanda and have fun. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And when he talks about resources, I literally think he's talking about, like, cleanups and feeding people. He's not talking about, I'm gonna send my spear that can stop a tank type of thing. Like, none of that. He's keeping weapons. He's not gonna happen. Now, when it comes to Infinity Wars and that big war scene, yeah, I think people are gonna be equipped with those weapons, and that may be a way how a little bit more of the vibranium weapons get out. But no, I don't think T'Challa's definitely not doing that. And he needed this confrontation with Eric because he needed to learn that he has to be. It's okay to be selfish, and he has to go out there and help his people. Like, and I think that was freaking brilliant. But yeah, so back on Michael B. Jordan, he did a phenomenal job. He acted it so well. I'm literally waiting for the Killmonger was right t-shirts to come out, because I will definitely be buying that. Friends, he was just awesome. It was amazing. Watch it, and like, you can watch this movie and, like, not have white guilt or different culture guilt. It was actually a good movie. I mean, it sparks a lot in you when you're watching it and you're like, oh, wow. And if it took a Marvel movie to make you go and investigate some of these things, cool. Then they did their job. They sparked the conversation, what it was supposed to be. So I'm definitely excited about Black Panther 2 in the future of the franchise. So the future of Wakanda, the future of Black Panther, what do I think it's going to be? I think going forward, so I think the character Shuri is going to be doing so much more. I feel like as far as tech, and like I said, they've already confirmed that she's the smartest person in the Marvel Universe, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, until Reed Richards shows up, I think. But, I mean, I expect her to do tech. I expect her to show up, because in the comic books, she does become Black Panther for a while there. And I expect her to maybe go on a mission where she has to save T'Challa. And she puts on one of the suits. Like, I totally expect that to happen. So, I'm excited for that. I do expect Killmonger to come back. So, although his death seems very definite, multiple people are like, bring him back. One of which is like, okay, so the gentleman in the green suit, and like, I forget his name in the comic book, but the guy who has like the disc in his mouth, and he's one of the royal leaders, like, he looks exactly like one of these characters from the Black Panther comic book that has brought in Killmonger back. And in the movie, like, when Killmonger came back to make his claim, like, he was kind of like the first to kind of jump on board. He was like, alright, fuck it, let's do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I recognize this motherfucker as my king. So I feel like maybe he'll play a part in bringing him back. Also, that character, and I wish I knew his name, and I, you know, like, I don't want to be disingenuous and, like, look it up and just be like, oh, this guy doesn't know his comics. And I kind of know because I don't remember his name. But, like, this guy was, like, a double agent. Like, although he was a Wakanda, like, all these people, like, these other independent agencies with America, Russia, you know, China, he was spying for these people in Wakanda. And he did bring Killmonger back. So there's a chance, there's a possibility that he'll do this now moving forward, which would be really cool. Like I said, Killmonger was so flippin' awesome, and like, what makes him even awesome in the comic book, in which they kind of, his death scene was exactly like it was in the comic book. That was awesome. But Killmonger, like, he's super dangerous, guys, and I don't think they like told you how dangerous this motherfucker is. In the comic book, Killmonger doesn't need the heart-shaped herb. to beat Black Panther. Black Panther with the heart-shaped herb is like, he's already on par with Black Panther, like with the heart-shaped herb in him. Basically, so when T'Challa is in full Black Panther mode, Killmonger can kick his ass, no powers whatsoever. Like, he's done it, he's beat him several times. And he's so badass that his body and his stamina and everything is so badass that when he once tried to consume the heart-shaped herb, this motherfucker passed out. Because he's already powerful. like he couldn't handle it. His body was like, bitch, I'm already at max. Like, you're gonna fucking take me to the next level? So he passed out. And that's cool. And then, like, I don't think like they touched on, like, well, I guess you could kind of, the museum scene is, yeah, they kind of like, you kind of examine how smart he is. Because he really is, he really is smart. Like, he went to this really prestigious, college in the Marvel Comics. And again, like, I gotta look this stuff, I didn't look this stuff up before I made the video. But, like, he's, like, he's super intelligent. Like, he's basically, who can I compare him to that's like that in the Marvel? I don't know, but I expect him to come back and have some fun, oh man, Ulysses Claw, man, I'm so sad that he died, but I feel like, again, he's gonna be somebody else that could probably come back. And going forward, I'm excited for whichever movie we have, Black Panther 2 or 3, or after Infinity Wars. At some point, the relationship between the Avengers and Black Panther will go sour. Like, it just, I mean, like, depending on how Marvel's writing him and how it goes on. And I really hope that Marvel, like, just contracts out Ryan Coogler so we can keep getting awesome movies. But, depending on how he's written and go on, like, there will be a falling out because, like I said, in the comic books, Black Panther is very much Wakanda first. And he joins the Avengers just to spy on them and make sure they're not going to be a threat. He's pretty much the Batman of the Avengers. Like, you know how, like, you know, most people quote the Tower of Babel situation, but think that, and that's pretty much Black Panther. Like, he's not about, like, leaving these guys off to go do some weird stuff, you know? So, and I also like that the love interest in this movie, right? They leave it open-ended. So you really don't know if they get together. And this is my theory on why they leave that open-ended. Okay, so I went to the comic book shop. I've got my pool, and I'm noticing, like, okay, so you got the Fantastic Four 2-in-1. Fantastic Four is coming back in the Marvel Universe. A lot of these 616 Earth characters are coming back. And most of these characters are all the characters who are mutant, or, like, you know, Fox owned or Sony owned and stuff like that. So as this deal with Fox is coming through, I feel like Marvel's reintroducing these characters. Even the original Jean Grey is back, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So all these characters are coming back. So that means the mutants will be introduced. So I feel like they're leaving it open so that Storm could come in and then they could do that storyline. Only I hope, this is the few times I hope it goes differently than it did in the comic book, you know, because that was just a relationship that was awesome to me. And I was sad when it ended. So I hope it becomes something big and they become like the real pillars of the Marvel relationship. Because, you know, we're slowly getting there with Stark and freaking Pepper Potts. I just want to hurry up and just hurry up and have them marry in the universe, for crying out loud. But if they go with them first, that would be cool too. So yeah, I think that's the future. And so I think maybe not the second film. Maybe you'll get somebody like, you know, it'd be funny for them to introduce Kraven through Black Panther. That would be awesome. But maybe the third film, because the third film, all trilogies always bring back something you thought was true that wasn't true. So maybe Eric Killmonger will come back in the third one. You know, that's my hope, right? So friends, all in all, this movie was fucking awesome. I thought it was cool. I thought the writing was good. I was not offended by it. This movie was just really good, and I can't wait for it to come out on Blu-ray or direct to like download, because I will be doing that. And I just think it was so awesome. If you haven't seen it, please go see it. You guys will love it. Man, so this is my review, guys, for Black Panther. I hope you guys liked it. I want to say thanks for stopping by. Also, guys, I'm doing a comic book club. It's going to be like a comic book club. I'm super excited about it. I've been thinking about this for a long time. You know what? I'm gonna give you 2 crazy updates. So I've been doing this comic book. I've been thinking about this comic book club. I haven't been doing it, and I've been wondering what we're gonna do it about. And so I decided to do 2 different comic book clubs all at once. So we're gonna do a DC and we're gonna do a Marvel. And if you guys like those 2, we'll probably do like a Valiant or a IDW, something like that. If you guys like. And so that's what we're gonna do. But I think I don't know what we're gonna do for Marvel. I feel like if we'll do X-Men Red, and then with DC we're gonna definitely do the White Knight. Okay, so yeah, for Marvel we're doing we're gonna do X-Men Red. For DC we're gonna do the White Knight series. And so yeah, I'm gonna start this club, and guys, we're gonna read them together. We're gonna discuss them, and it's gonna be super awesome. So that's what I'm excited for. This other thing that I'm excited for is that I've been writing this Ghostbuster script to film for a long time. The other day I got like the new, well, not the new, but like sort of a variation logo for this exclusive team that I'm writing for. And I'm so excited when it comes in. So on my vlog series I will be showing you guys that, and I hope you guys like it. So yeah, guys, look out for those things. If you guys want to join the book club, please subscribe and like. Go on my Instagram, like that. Get the books. Start reading, doing your homework, and then we'll do. Sorry, excuse me. We'll do. I think a YouTube live. I'll do a YouTube live or Twitch live or Twitch. And I'll be the one. So yeah, guys, again, thanks friends, thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you guys later.